Let's roll. This is SportsRage. I am Gabriel Morency. The Pips, the players, the hustlers, the people to bust them, and everybody else in between. Let's do this thing. The Monday Night Meltdown has begun. Countdown to the Super Bowl has begun as well. We are 13 days away from another Kansas City and San Francisco matchup. Let's not forget, San Francisco had a double-digit lead on the Kansas City Chiefs the last time that they played, but Patrick Mahomes did what he normally does in these playoff games, win. And that's what he did over the weekend, over the Baltimore Ravens. We're going to break it down. Point spread opened up. There was a point spread earlier in the day yesterday before the game started. Advanced lines, hypothetical matchups, and the sports books were taking action on them. And the San Francisco 49ers were 3-point favorites over the Kansas City Chiefs in a hypothetical matchup. And the if the Lions would have won, the Chiefs would have been 3.5-point favorites over the Detroit Lions, just for the record. Sorry, Lion fan, to bring that up, but we'll break down what happened to the Detroit Lions as well. But it opened up at 2.5 at all the big-time books, and it didn't take long, man. It got hit hard, and now it's sitting at 1 right now. You know, a lot of people are saying, Kansas City's going to end up being the favorite. I'm not really sure about that. I think it's kind of settled in. Right now with the early big bets, it's sort of settled in. And I guess there'll be some public money Super Bowl weekend potentially on the Kansas City Chiefs. But realistically, nobody likes the Chiefs, right? Like besides Kansas City Chief fans and Taylor Swift fans, nobody likes them. People are tired of them. And the San Francisco 49ers aren't the Detroit Lions, though. We're not like, it's not the sisters of the poor here, right? The 49ers. But the fact is, the 49ers haven't won in a long time either. All right, shout out to everybody joining us on Sirius XM Channel 159. This is SportsRage. I am Gabriel Morency. Let's do this thing. Countdown to the Super Bowl is officially on. There's been all kinds of line moves, and I'm actually seeing 1.5s right now. So it's popped back up 0.5 point. And if anything, I think the time is, if you do like Kansas City, as they're an underdog, it's a great teaser situation because you're getting over the key numbers, right? You're getting the Kansas City Chiefs at plus 8.5 points on a 7-point teaser. And although I'd rather see the San Francisco 49ers win the Super Bowl over the Kansas City Chiefs, but what I want is irrelevant. And it's one of those deals where it's like, yeah, San Francisco are better than they are, but Kansas City are going to win, aren't they? It's just like, when you really start, if you think about it, it's always easy after the fact. But if you think back, it's like, yeah, man, like seriously? Lamar Jackson and the Ravens were like 5-point favorites over the Chiefs. And like, how do you not take the Chiefs? And now you got to ask yourself, so seriously? And I know it's not quarterback versus quarterback, but it kind of is. It is and it isn't when it comes to football. But like, really. So you've got, and everybody's talking, all the talking heads and, the historians and stuff, everybody's comparing Patrick Mahomes' his start of his career to Tom Brady. And at this pace, whatever, Mahomes, God knows. The guy's in the conference championship game all the time. 4th Super Bowl in the last 5 years, right? So they're comparing the numbers right now to Tom Brady. And yet at the same point in time, you've made Brock Purdy a favorite against him. And all he does every time he's an underdog is win the damn game, cover the spread. I know it's a small price, but it'll be interesting to see which way the number goes. I find it interesting, too, that the total is just remained at 47.5 in this game, that it hasn't moved at all, right? Like the point spread is moving, man. It was 1, it's 1.5, it's 2.5. It's all over the place, this thing. We'll take a look at, like, different places tonight just to get a feel for it. If there's a difference with the apps, is there a difference on the strip? I can tell you, like, Las Vegas is heavy San Francisco territory. All right, there are a ton of Niner fans, man, in Las Vegas and in Nevada, and specifically Reno. Reno's close, obviously, right? So like Reno's numbers will be a little bit different, but the total of 47.5. I get it. The Chiefs have a great defense, but indoors, like really, is this game staying under 47.5? The last time that they played, they got to 51 in the Super Bowl. I put up a poll question last night that I haven't checked in on, actually. I put it up right after the game last night, so we'll check back in with the poll question and we'll retweet it. You can jump in at SportsRage. And it was very simple because the game is basically a pick-em. I basically said, who are you taking? I will say this. Generally, the consensus of my polls on Twitter are wrong. They are. Like, it says, oh, the public is wrong. The consensus of the polls are generally wrong, like all the time. Like, if people on my Twitter all took the Washington Huskies against Michigan, although, I don't know, maybe they did it to spite me. Maybe they're just dumb. I don't know, maybe both. Whatever. Nevertheless. So our poll question is up right now. I'll retweet it right now. Who are you taking? Who's going to win the Super Bowl? It's none of this. Who's going to cover and all this? Who's going to win the Super Bowl? And, we put this up like in the late night hours last night. We've got 299 votes right now. So let's get it rolling here. I just retweeted it. Jump in and participate. It's 62.9%. 62.9% Kansas City. People taking Kansas City. Only 37.1% like the San Francisco 49ers in this game. I mean, look, we saw the Green Bay Packers have the Niners on the ropes. The Detroit Lions had the Niners on the ropes. But you know what? Style points don't matter, baby. All that matters is there's one game left, the big game. So, you'll notice online, social media-wise, I'm going to refer to it as the big game at times. Sometimes I can say Super Bowl, but anytime there's one of our sponsors involved, we're not allowed using it. So we will be broadcasting live from Las Vegas, Nevada, starting next Monday, actually. 1 week from now, next Monday, we're going to be kicking it live from the MGM Sportsbook for breaking down the big game. We're going to be breaking down the big game. Right now, we're talking about the Super Bowl. But while we're there, we're going to be talking about the big game. Yeah, you're going to hear the term the big game used a lot because basically when it comes to the Super Bowl, unless like you're a serious rights holder, you're not allowed using the name. Like point blank. You guys remember a couple of years ago, like they literally sent a cease and desist letter to a church that had a Super Bowl party going on. A church, all right? So like they're pretty serious about that. So yeah, we're looking forward to being there for the big game. Next week, we'll be kicking it all week long. We'll have all kinds of cool guests. And especially now it's going to be in Vegas. You're going to get that gambling aspect of this Super Bowl, right? Normally it's like Media Row and stuff like that. But we're going to be kicking it live from a sports book. So we're going to have a lot of your favorites. A lot of our regulars are going to be kicking it with us live, straight from the Strip in Las Vegas, Nevada. The Super Bowl countdown is on. Jump in on our poll right now at SportsRage. And tell me, who do you think is going to win the Super Bowl? The Rager Red Cam Stewart's going to step up and in. We got George Kurtz in the house. Our boy Mo Khan throws it down with us. Joe Madden bats leadoff. This is Sports Rage. The Chargers have the 5th pick in the National Football League draft. There's a lot of different like roads that they could take with this pick. And for the record as well, there's a few sports books out there already that already have next year's Super Bowl numbers up. The Chargers are like 30-1. So there's a lot of work to do.
Sports Rage Late Night, only on SportsGrid.
Quarterback at quarterback. We're going to lay some juice. We're going to have some dog prices, and we're going to go right in the middle.
Because I don't know what they're doing. To me, they're in a complete rebuild, Kev.
Go run. That's where overbackers on this 51.5 shot.
So right now, he's a little bit more over money, but it's hovering right around.
The winner of this game will be the division favorite.
I don't care if they win, because all we care about is the money, baby. The money.
Pro Football Today. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
This will not end well in Milwaukee. They will flame out. There will be problems, and we will see what happens of who's the next domino to go. Does Giannis just sign an extension, ask out after a year? Do they move on from Dame? or do they start blowing up some of the other guys, Brooke Lopez, Bobby Portis, so on and so forth? It'll be worth watching.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
We got one of the best games of the year, Warren, on Sunday night as the Chiefs are now headed back to a 6th championship game. An extremely fun, clean game, and then the hijinks ensue.
I thought it was just irresponsible for him to take that deep shot into the end zone. I talked a lot about it on X. I thought that they should have hit that underneath route to Diggs. He was wide open. It would have been easily a first down.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
He feels like he's got unfinished business, right? He won the national championship, did what he said he wanted to do, going back to Ann Arbor.
And, he coached, I think, with the Raiders as an assistant, and then got the job with the Niners, and then went to title games, went to Super Bowls, lost to his brother, and I think you're right, unfinished business, go back, try to win a Super Bowl.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
73 points for Luka Doncic. Joel Embiid scored 70 and somebody beat him in the same week. That's incredible.
In-game live, prime time, only on SportsGrid.
SportsGrid, the only streaming sports betting network. Tips, info, and insights to up your IQ. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
This is SportsRage. I am Gabriel Morency. 56 at the break right now in the Mile High City. We've got the Milwaukee Bucks. Doc Rivers making his debut against the Denver Nuggets tonight. Tie basketball game. A little lighter scoring than I would like. Countdown to the Super Bowl is on. We're going to go over all the props. A lot of football talk tonight about the big game that's rapidly approaching. There was only one game in the NHL tonight because it's All-Star Weekend, because the NHL is whacked. And I've said this time and time again in the past. They make their schedule on the back of a napkin like a strip club in downtown Toronto, I think. And I get it, it's All-Star Week this week, but like the Canucks played their last game before the break on Saturday. You've got other teams that are playing on Wednesday. You've got like one or two games at night all the time, so it's just annoying for hockey fans anyways. Like, I don't know, it's just me. Why don't you just slam it right up until like Tuesday, have a million games all the time up until Tuesday? Do these guys really need 10 days off? like how much time do you like? I don't know. I don't want to sound like an old man, but in my day, we played until Thursday of All-Star Weekend.
Yes.
All right?
Yes,
we
it was
played until
Thursday.
Thursday night, and then you slid out on Friday. Hey, see you later, guys. I'm going away for the weekend. I'll be back on Monday. Now it's like the week and a half before. It's like, wow, we got the All-Star game in like 10 days. So I don't know. Like, I saw that on Saturday night. Cam Stewart in the house. We'll bring Joe Madden in a second, but I saw that on Saturday, Cam, when they said, and the Vancouver Canucks win their last game going into the All-Star break. I'm like, the All-Star game's next week. It's 7 days from now. Like,
Yeah,
what do you
and
mean
they
last
get time
game
off
in a week?
after the game.
Like,
and they have representatives there. It's
and then
like,
you're going to
what?
have like 3 or 4 days off, or God knows how long after the game.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's the league shut. Like, they complain. We can't shut down because of the Olympics all the time. You freaking shut down because of this stupid All-Star game now. You've stretched it out. It's Thursday night, Friday, Saturday now. There's 3 days of events now. So whatever. And I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud here, too. Like, who the hell has All-Star events on a Thursday night? But anyways, like, Cam, that's a Saturday afternoon. You do the skill Saturday afternoon.
Yeah.
Saturday night. Play the All-Star game Sunday afternoon, bro.
I don't know what these dudes are doing.
If it was good enough for Wayne Gretzky, it's good enough for, like, now. That's the way we used to do it.
Yeah. Wayne
Sunday
Gretzky used to
afternoon.
play.
That's the All-Star game. Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, Thursday was the last day. They'd have the game. Campbell, whatever, versus, they'd have it. You know the way it used to be, Gabe. It used to be like the conferences versus each other. It was cool. They had great. And then Gretzky would be the MVP and give Dave Semenko a truck.
because he was the MVP. Thanks, pal. You've been great. You've been a great teammate to me this year. I'm going to say this, though, that at Vancouver, what a way to end it. They were down 4-1 to Columbus going into the third period. I'm like, do I smash these guys live? They come back and win in overtime. I'm like, thank you. And after betting almost everything I had on the Ravens, that saved my butt, or else I'd be in real trouble heading into tonight's show. But great comeback by the Canucks, Gabe. Love you. Joe's here. Yeah, the NHL, these guys are honest to God. I don't know what they're doing half the time. Just throw a dart. That's what they do.
And Joe Madden steps up, and Joe, I don't know how you feel. Listen, I am one of the few people in the media and fans that enjoy all-star games. I like them. I used to love the Pro Bowl the way that it was before. Now, whatever, it's a flag football game now, literally and figuratively. But it was pretty good, actually, last year, the flag. But the hockey all-star game is one that I've never really, like the Major League Baseball all-star game, that's like, man, I want to go. And like, man, that's epic. What a great night that is. And the home run derby and everything is special. The NBA all-star game is super cool. You literally have like 15 of the 20 of the baddest-ass NBA players in the league, like dunking and hitting threes. And it's a party. It's a fun time. The Pro Bowl used to be great if you bet the over. You know what I mean? It would be like 55-50 and stuff, and it'd be fun. But the hockey is tough. Like NHL players, number one, guys, they're too humble, all right? Like hockey culture, if you show off, you get punched in the mouth. So in the NBA, you show off, you get a shoe deal, right? Like in hockey, hey, look at me, I'm special. People are like, I'm going to knock your teeth out if you do that again to me. So they don't like showing off. So then they get to the All-Star game, and they don't do crazy things, even though they can, because they're like, I don't want to get ripped by Don Cherry, and like, you know, people are going to think I'm a hot dog and I'm showing off. They don't want to do it. And another thing is, they don't know how to play 3-on-3. It's boring, right? Like they pass the puck around. It doesn't have its desired effect. And the last thing I'll say, Joe, is I want to get into this event this weekend and stuff. But like Cam said, I'm not a fan of this picking the teams crap the night before the game. I want to know the teams. We can talk about betting on it. We can talk about the game. Now, I don't know. There's 4 teams and blah, blah. I don't know. There's like 6 guys a team or something, and they're going to draw sticks. And I don't know what their stupid little draft is. I hate that stuff. How you doing, Joe?
I'm doing pretty good. After all that, I'm doing good. I would have been better if the Predators would have won in overtime tonight over the Ottawa Senators, because I had them over. Their team total 3.5. So frustrating when they get 3 goals in that first period and are not able to get the 4th for the rest of that game. But otherwise, doing good. And I'm with you. This All-Star break is too long. Teams like the Edmonton Oilers must be so frustrated with how much time they have off, with all the momentum they had going into this All-Star break. It's going to hurt them, I think, coming out on the other side.
Cam, I'll say this, that I was very fortunate tonight to take advantage of that promo of an unnamed sports book, because they don't pay us, that I got paid at 3-0. I was on the Predators. I got paid.
Yeah, that's great. Hey, I don't know. I had a talk with a guy about that. Yeah, no,
3-0, baby. I was like, I crossed my mind. I was like, well, now if they blow it, I don't have to worry. And then they did blow it. I'm like, holy crap, they did blow it.
I feel bad. I feel bad for Joe, because I was actually on Ottawa, and I bet them when they're dead. So we're all winners, like, except for the team total. And Gabe, what a thing, because a guy comes up and he's like, I really love to play with low juice or whatever. I go, wouldn't you want a place where when you got a 3-goal lead or a 17-point lead in football, where a team, and today, you know this, Morency, we bet all the time. Joe bets all the time. This is nothing now. Like in the old days, it was tough to come back.
Oh, it happens all the time now. Nightly,
it's
daily.
Like, you're going to have to change it to like 4 or 5 goals or 28
Yeah, don't give them any ideas, because they have bumped some of them up.
Cut my mic. Yeah, but I know exactly where you're coming from. Good for you. Gabe.
No, don't say that, because I know, Cam. It used to be 17 points, 18 points for basketball, and they made it 20.
Yeah.
They bumped it to 20. Football is 17 now.
Yeah.
Hockey is 3. And, same thing. Baseball used to be 3, but in the modern era, they realized, they're like, we're going to get killed doing this. They made it 5.
Yeah.
You got to be up by 5 in baseball. You'll get paid.
That's still nothing. How many times have we seen a team take like a 6-1 lead like early in the game, and then they lose like 11-8?
Oh, yeah.
Like a Colorado Rockies game? Like, give me a break. So, yeah, you're right.
It is true.
Shut my mouth and let it be. Just let it be.
Yeah, being as old, Joe, as we are, it is true.
Yeah.
It used to be like when you were up 4-0 or something in a hockey game or even baseball. Like I remember it was like, hey, yeah, we're winning 5-0. You could pretty much count the money. Like, you know what I'm saying? Yep. You'd be like, yeah, like once in a while there'd be a comeback, but it wasn't. Now in today's sports, these leads don't mean anything. Like in hockey, you follow hockey, Joe, nightly. You see in the NHL, every year, and it's the same thing this year. Last year, 45% of the teams that won an NHL game were trailing at some point in the game. And it was like 27% of the time teams that won a game were actually trailing by 2 at some point in time. Like a 1 or 2 goal lead in hockey means absolutely nothing in the modern era.
No, and it's beautiful for live betting these games as well because the sports books are overreacting from what I'm seeing. You can grab that team that's down by a couple goals plus 2.5 on the puck line normally for good value. So I'm with you. These teams can come back. Cam talked about with Vancouver this weekend. They were so phenomenal coming back in that 4-1 game. It was crazy. I couldn't believe they won it 5-4 in OT.
It was funny. After the first period, I said, the Canucks are going to be much better in the second. They're not going to be happy with that. And then after the second, they're down 4-1. I was like, well, maybe it's just one of these nights that it's just not meant to be. And somehow they came back.
Kind of a great team.
The Chargers have the 5th pick in the National Football League draft. There's a lot of different like roads that they could take with this pick. And for the record as well, there's a few sports books out there already that already have next year's Super Bowl numbers up. The Chargers are like 30-1. So there's a lot of work to do.
SportsRage Late Night, only on SportsGrid.
Quarterback at quarterback. We're going to lay some juice. We're going to have some dog prices, and we're going to go right in the middle.
Because I don't know what they're doing. To me, they're in a complete rebuild, Kev.
Go run, run, run. That's where overbackers on this 51.5 shot.
Right now, he's a little bit more over money, but it's hovering right around.
The winner of this game will be the division favorite.
I don't care if they win because all we care about is the money, baby, the money.
Pro Football Today. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
This will not end well in Milwaukee. They will flame out. There will be problems, and we will see what happens of who's the next domino to go. Does Giannis just sign an extension, ask out after a year? Do they move on from Dame? Or do they start blowing up some of the other guys, Brooke Lopez, Bobby Portis, so on and so forth? It'll be worth watching.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
We got one of the best games of the year, Warren, on Sunday night as the Chiefs are now headed back to a 6th championship game. An extremely fun, clean game, and then the hijinks ensue.
And I thought it was just irresponsible for him to take that deep shot into the end zone. I talked a lot about it on X. I thought that they should have hit that underneath route to Diggs. He was wide open. It would have been easily a first down.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
He feels like he's got unfinished business, right? He won the national championship, did what he said he wanted to do, going back to Ann Arbor.
And, he coached, I think, with the Raiders as an assistant and then got the job with the Niners and then went to title games, went to Super Bowls, lost to his brother. And I think you're right, unfinished business, go back, try to win a Super Bowl.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
73 points for Luka Doncic. Joel Embiid scored 70 and somebody beat him in the same week. That's incredible.
In-game live, prime time, only on SportsGrid.
SportsGrid, the only streaming sports betting network. Tips, info, and insights to up your IQ. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
This is SportsRage. I am Gabriel Morency, the pits, the players, the hustlers, the people, the bust them, and everybody else in between. I know everybody's super excited that Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, and Taylor Swift are going to the Super Bowl. And quickly on this, actually, FanDuel Ontario was the only ones to do this, Cam, but you missed out on it. I would have sent you a text earlier if I would have saw it and told you to hammer this. They posted a prop earlier in the day because in America, you're not allowed to take, like, FanDuel can't take props on, like, the national anthem or, like, BetMGM in Vegas. They can't take bets on, like, those sort of frill-type things. It's the gaming commission doesn't allow it. So, but in Canada, you can, they don't give a crap what you bet on. So, in Canada, FanDuel has, of course, they're coming up with all these Taylor Swift type of themes. And they actually had one today, earlier in the day. Will Travis Kelce, you're going to like this, Joe, will Travis Kelce propose to Taylor Swift on the field after the Super Bowl? And no was like minus 230 only. And clearly it was a mistake. Clearly it was a mistake because now it's like minus 3,500, Cam. They effed up, bro. Like, if you had time, there's no way in hell he's proposing to her on the freaking field. This isn't a college. Like, come on. Like, he's not a kid from Boise State. He ain't proposing to her on the field after the Super Bowl.
Boise State versus Oklahoma.
The guy got on his knee after he scored the touchdown. He married the cheerleader. Make a movie about it. Good for you.
I can never forget that. Will you marry me?
You've got to see if he's taking any signs of, like, dance lessons, like choreo stuff, because if he is, he's proposing on that field. They're all going to break out in a huge move.
Do you guys think she's even going to be there, Gabe? That concert's in Tokyo.
Is.
Yeah, well, it's very fast. Yeah, she'll
That's
make
real love, man. I got to tell you, like, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it. Like, she's playing. She's playing. No, I just say I love you, honey. Best of luck. I'll send her a video. Like,
don't worry about it. I'll be fine.
Like, I'm in Japan right now, baby, and good luck with that. Like, so yeah, she's playing in Japan on the Saturday night. And I just saw how, I'm on top of everything, Cam. She's playing Japan on the Saturday night. She's going to fly back from Japan to Las Vegas for the game. And then she's playing Melbourne, Australia on Monday night.
Oh, my God.
She's going to fly from Japan to Las Vegas and then from Las Vegas to Melbourne, Australia for this dude.
That's insane. That's a long flight. That's like
what about her show? How's she not going to be tired? Like in her own gig? Like, I'd be like, listen, Taylor, you're taking this too far. You got your own fans to worry about. Like, don't worry about the Super Bowl.
I want that Taylor Swift to do all three. No, at any price. There's no way she's going to fly to Australia one day after this. The Super Bowl ends late on Sunday, right, Joe? What's the fastest time you can get to Australia? 15 hours on a special jet?
I gotta be honest, Joe. If I was her, I would just postpone. I would postpone the Australia show. I would say, listen, and her Swifties love her anyway. So I'd say, listen, my boyfriend's playing in the Super Bowl. I'm gonna come in like 3 days or whatnot, like a few days later. But the thing is, her shows are big business, man. We're talking about hundreds of millions of dollars. Like, she can't just like be canceling and moving shows around. She's not Adele. So she doesn't want to screw her fans over. Right? Adele will cancel 10 minutes before the show. I'm not feeling well. So
I do have a question quickly. When did Taylor Swift start dating Travis Kelce?
Not even that long ago. I don't know, like 3 months ago or something, 4 months ago.
If it was a year, you could have obviously
not even the whole season, like half the season, Cam. Not even the whole year.
It is. It's been half the season. You're correct. So, wow, unreal. She's not going to do that. Joe, like, Gabe, we're smart people. Like, come on. There's no way you can go from a Super Bowl game that ends, it's a really long game, to playing in Australia. Give me a break. It's humanly impossible. It's not.
That's real love, Joe. If you're flying,
it's gotta be real.
Like tens of thousands of miles back and forth, that's the real deal.
They're going to get married. You're right. This one's for real.
She's got her jet. She can fly. She can sleep. It's a 13-hour flight, right, over from Japan. I think it's not that far. And they're also, you got to look at the time change. So add 4 hours, switch AM and PM, and add a day. So really, it's Friday our time that she's doing the show.
Good call,
so when she gets in, she should be okay. I think she's got this. It's Taylor Swift. She's got it.
Yeah,
she's a superwoman
or whatever. Yeah, she's not going to do anything bad to get tired or whatever. She'll be hopped up on energy drinks, and she'll find a way. Like
that's what we think. She's probably doing like 8 balls of blow on the plane. We think she's all like
she looks
nice.
pretty good.
She's like,
if she is partying, she's doing a really good
like,
job hiding it, Morency. Like a real good job.
I'm looking right now.
I'm going to go with the energy drinks.
I actually saw something about her flight path and all that, about the hours and the like how crazy it is. But great point by you. And I thought the same thing, Joe, to be honest. When I saw it, I'm like, oh my God. Then I realized, I'm like, it's not like Cam, she's sitting in the middle aisle with a bunch of fat dudes or something, like on some commercial flight. Like Joe said, she has her own jet. Like she literally has a jet with like a bedroom and like the whole, you know what I mean? Like, so she'll be fine. It's not like, she's going to be squeezed in economy in the back with a bunch of people like me, like I am all the time. All right. So as far as the game itself is concerned, this point spread keeps bouncing around right now. It opened at 2.5 and went all the way down to 1, but I'm seeing 1.5, like consensus almost right now. Interesting that it's crept back up. What's your initial impression, Joe, of the Super Bowl right now? What's your early lean?
Yeah, initial impression is the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again. I've bet against the Kansas City Chiefs the last 2 times, and I don't think I can do it again. Patrick Mahomes is a dog that's been so phenomenally strong, 10-1-1 against the spread in his career when he's been an underdog. Andy Reid is a better coach here, I do think, as well. So you got the better coach, the better quarterback in the Kansas City Chiefs. And if it goes back up to plus 2.5, I'm going to grab the Chiefs. But I think this is one where you got to look at those prop bets, because I tell you what we saw out of the 49ers and how Brock Purdy was able to use his legs. I loved what we saw there. And I think Brock Purdy, if they allow him to scramble again in this game, could kind of surprise the Chiefs out there. So I'm leaning under, and I'm leaning on the Kansas City Chiefs to be able to get the win. I like them better plus the 2.5 if it moves back to that.
Cam, I'm sure I don't need to remind you that these two teams played. I know last time you hammered the San Francisco 49ers.
I did.
And they were winning by double digits with about 8 minutes left in the game, and somehow they managed to lose by double digits.
Yep.
So what are you doing this time?
I remember in the parking lot, tears with Andy Isco and Brian Blessing, and my girlfriend going, "Did you bet too much on this game?" And I said, "Yes, honey. So let's go. You can go hit the slots, and I'll go hit the blackjack table, and hopefully we can turn this thing around." Unlike Joe, I am insane, and I will take the San Francisco 49ers in this game. They've hung on twice to win these games, and I'm going to take them in this game. Hopefully Purdy can do his thing. Good call, Joe. I love what he's done on his feet. He's a better athlete than people talk about, and people remember what they saw last. If it was actually this week, I'd like the 49ers even more. But, you know, the Chiefs have some extra time, get some players back. But I'm on. Gabe, the total feels a little bit light at 47.5 as well. I got to be honest. The minute that thing went from 2.5 to 1, I hit San Francisco money line. And, yeah, I am insane. The definition of insanity, doing the same thing and expecting different results. And I'm betting against the Chiefs. So if I lose, I have nobody to blame but myself. This is not a bet out of spite. This is just a bet that I think San Francisco is going to get some revenge. So I'm on the Niners, Gabe.
Ultimately, yeah, you know, you look at this matchup, and you could look at it one way, sort of like Joe just said. The definition of insanity is continuously betting against Mahomes, who is just dominant and doesn't lose in these playoff games, with the exception of that Tom Brady Super Bowl against the Buccaneers. But San Francisco just feel like they have so much more, right? They've got so many more players. They've got Samuel. They've got McCaffrey. They've got Ayuk. They've got Bosa. They've got Young. They've got Williams on the line. Like, they're just so stacked, yet you've got the Mahomes factor. It really is, Mahomes really is just sort of getting sort of Jordan-like, where you think you have him, you know what I mean? You're about to, you've got him. No, it's like, he's like that elusive criminal that you can't catch. Like, we've got him. It's like, no, he's vanished. He's gone. Like, you missed your chance.
Morency, let's talk about one thing, though. They didn't score a damn point. The second half in that game, Lamar Jackson, Flowers fumbles at the half-yard line. One half yard, they're in there.
No, Baltimore dominated the second half game. I talked about it on the air. They had like 213 yards of offense in the second half and couldn't score because they kept scoring out.
I can't believe they didn't win the game. I didn't care about the point spread. They shut down Kansas City in the second half when they brought pressure.
Can you believe the Flowers fumble at the goal line? That was the difference. If they score that touchdown, they're coming back. Like, they were coming back. You know what I mean?
You're so right, Gabe.
It just sort of like...
I'm like Tanya Harding or Nancy Kerrigan. Why? I was just going, I'm so dead. I had Baltimore money line with everything, like San Francisco over, and it was a bad day. Not going to lie, that game really hurt. It stung. But I'm telling you, if you look at the second half, and San Francisco is like that thing that you cannot kill. They look like they're in a coma. They're coming out of the coma, like on a soap opera. Like they find ways to win, and the line is low. So I'm just taking them to win the damn game, Morency. I'm surprised, though, that total 47.5, my friends. Don't you guys think that? Like, I thought they'd post like a 50. Like, it feels light. Like, 47.5?
It's because of Kansas City's defense. Well, Joe said she thinks she's liking the under. I'm with you, though, Kev. I saw it. Look, they got to 51 last time with Jimmy G as their quarterback. Like, the last time they played in the Super Bowl, there was 51 points scored. I just refuse to believe that indoors in Las Vegas in this Super Bowl, we're not getting into the 50s. Right? Like, how and not to mention, too, San Francisco's defense is pretty vulnerable. As we're seeing, I mean, the Packers and the Lions carved them up.
True.
The Chargers have the 5th pick in the National Football League draft. There's a lot of different like roads that they could take with this pick. And for the record as well, there's a few sports books out there that already have next year's Super Bowl numbers up. The Chargers are like 30-1. So there's a lot of work to do.
SportsRage Late Night, only on SportsGrid.
Quarterback at quarterback. We're going to lay some juice. We're going to have some dog prices, and we're going to go right in the middle.
Because I don't know what they're doing. To me, they're in a complete rebuild, Kev.
Go run. That's where overbackers on this 51.5 shot.
So right now, he's a little bit more over money, but it's hovering right around.
The winner of this game will be the division
I
favorite.
don't care if they win because all we care about is the money, baby. The money.
Pro Football Today. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
This will not end well in Milwaukee. They will flame out. There will be problems, and we will see what happens of who's the next domino to go. Does Giannis just sign an extension, ask out after a year? Do they move on from Dame? Or do they start blowing up some of the other guys, Brook Lopez, Bobby Portis, so on and so forth? It'll be worth watching.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
Got one of the best games of the year, Warren, on Sunday night as the Chiefs are now headed back to a 6th championship game. An extremely fun, clean game, and then the hijinks ensue.
And I thought it was just irresponsible for him to take that deep shot into the end zone. I talked a lot about it on X. I thought that they should have hit that underneath route to Diggs. He was wide open. It would have been easily a first down.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
He feels like he's got unfinished business, right? He won the national championship, did what he said he wanted to do, going back to Ann Arbor.
And, he coached, I think, with the Raiders as an assistant, and then got the job with the Niners, and then went to title games, went to Super Bowls, lost to his brother, and I think you're right, unfinished business, go back, try to win a Super Bowl.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
73 points for Luka Doncic. Joel Embiid scored 70 and somebody beat him in the same week. That's incredible.
In-game live, prime time, only on SportsGrid.
SportsGrid, the only streaming sports betting network. Tips, info, and insights to up your IQ. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
This is Sports Rage. I am Gabriel Morency. So the Kansas City Chiefs are the designated home team of this football game. It alternates on a yearly basis, NFC, AFC, etc. But I always find it interesting. All right, if you're wondering, what color is going to be wearing, so they're going to be wearing their red. San Francisco will be in white.
Oh, I like that.
You like that, Cam?
Yes.
You prefer to be in white?
Yeah. Because they wore red when they lost. No, Morency, you got
I thought of that too.
Now.
I was like, what were they wearing last time? I was like, they wore red last time. I even remember too.
God,
they wore red. They're wearing white, Cam.
See how much you think me and you were
Cam's all happy. He's like, oh, really? They're wearing white. Good. Yeah.
Honest to God, that means something to me. As crazy as it sounds, I want to see them in white. Because I look at the last games they played in red.
I think it's better in white too for them too. Yeah. It's the road jersey. Get that mentality going. Like, you know what I mean? Like, get that toughness going. Cam wants to hang his hat on Eddie Can show here. White jersey.
I got to tell you, San Francisco's winning because they're wearing white. It's like, good work, Cam. Yeah, excellent.
Hey, white jerseys have done well in the Super Bowl. I remember talking about that last year, but I said, it's just this coincidence or whatever. But
maybe not.
But you're a Charger fan, Joe, so we'll get to Harbaugh in a second. But how about this, guys? The Raiders. So you're the Raiders. Your number one rival is the Kansas City Chiefs. You hate the Chiefs. And the Chiefs are playing a Super Bowl in your city. Your other rival for years is the San Francisco 49ers, your Bay Area rival. So, like, Raider fans are in hell. Like, if you look at Raiders Twitter, it's comical. Like, they're like, I'm leaving. I'm not even going to watch the Super Bowl. I hate them both. They're going to, both go F themselves. So there's, like, this big hate. And then if you're the Raiders, how about this, Joe? The Kansas City Chiefs are taking over the Raiders headquarters and practice facility for the week. That's going to be their headquarters. Like the ultimate slap in the face to the Raiders organization.
That's unreal.
You guys, good for you. You're hosting, but your arch rivals are like bitch slapping you. You're going to be sitting on your couch in your locker room and working on your practice field, getting ready for the Super Bowl, laughing at you. Like they're going to be going, it's the Raiders facility.
Yeah, exactly.
We're in it here. They're going to be kicked back. I guarantee you, like they're going to be taking like they'll be tweeting stuff like, I wouldn't sit in Max Crosby's chair, though. I'll tell you that.
Exactly.
Stay away from his locker, bro.
Good call, Randy. Max Crosby, he takes names and numbers, baby.
Someone's taking a cigar, like smoking a cigar in his locker there. But no, like Raider fans, though, were like, the ultimate insult. Now the Chiefs are taking over our facility. And for the record, the San Francisco 49ers are practicing at it's a brand new complex because the old complex, UNLV, wouldn't have been good enough, but they have a brand new football training facility called the Fertitta Football Complex. That's where the 49ers, if you want to go stalk them and get autographs, that's where they're going to be practicing all week.
Don't tell anybody that, Gabe. They need all the concentration they can get if we're betting.
It's on the Maryland Parkway.
Yeah.
The South of Maryland. Cam's like, don't tell them they need all. Don't worry, Cam. They'll have security, buddy. People will get to that. It's like, hey, Brock Purdy. Hey, buddy.
Hey, how you doing? Yeah, exactly.
Like I saw last night, I retweeted it, Joe. There was a story about where they're staying. Because I knew them. Like, they're not staying on the Strip. Like, so where I was fascinated, where are they going to stay? And they're staying on, both teams are staying on Lake Las Vegas, which is about 40 miles off the Strip. And they're both staying, one of them staying at the Hilton. It's really nice. We should go, we'll get pictures up off that. Maybe we'll do it tonight, Matt. I'll send them to you after you. Oh, Cam, you should see these resorts where they're staying, bro. It's over the top. But people are like, oh, that's too bad. I thought, it's like, what did you think? They were going to be staying at the Bellagio? Like, playing blackjack all week? Like, there's Taylor Swift. Like,
wow, Gabe, I'm looking at Lake Las Vegas now. Oh, my God. It is gorgeous as hell. Holy jeez. Some of these
pictures. I want to go, actually. When I saw it, I was like, you know what? Maybe I'm going to go to one of these places after. Like,
looks amazing.
There's no casinos at their properties, though. The NFL doesn't want them. They're not allowed to gamble, remember?
Yeah, I'll see you, Gabe. I won't be going there if there's no casinos.
Me too. I saw that. I'm like, come on, you don't have a little casino room somewhere? Little sports book action.
Exactly, just a little one. Wow.
It's a lake. At a lake. Oh, we'll get the shots up after. Yeah. We'll do a little comparison, Cam. I'll ask you which resort looks better. Which one would you rather stay at between the two of them? They're both pretty good though. They're both like 5-star, serious luxury. All right, so, Joe, the MVP prop is always a big one when it comes to the Super Bowl. It's always the quarterback, right? It's always the quarterback, and, with some of exceptions. But this year it's different because if San Francisco wins, there's no guarantee it's Brock Purdy.
Correct.
So a lot of times, no, it'll be Matt Stafford or it'll be Joe Burrow. Or it'll be this guy. It'll be it's going to be the winning quarterback, per se, for the most part. I think it's 7 of the last 9, 12 of the last 15. There's random exceptions. This is more interesting, though. And look at this, guys. It's funny, Cam. Look at that the Niners are favored, but Mahomes is favored to be the MVP.
Yep.
Normally, the favorite team, it would be the favorite quarterback, whatnot. So Brock Purdy is plus 210 right now. Christian McCaffrey plus 480.
What a
Travis
price.
Kelce 20-1. Samuel 20-1. I got to tell you, Cam, me too. I'm shocked. I'm like, wow, 480. I'd jump all over that because I'm looking at another book right now. I see plus 400
now. I'm doing it.
And that's my pick, Cam. If San Francisco wins, it's going to be because McCaffrey has 3 touchdowns, 2 rushing touchdowns, he'll catch a ball. McCaffrey is the MVP pick, guys, for San Francisco, in my opinion.
Love it, Morency. Love it. And another thing is, even if Kittle rebounds from his very, very bad performance against the Lions in that game, you said it. It's attached to Brock Purdy. It's all about McCaffrey. So if McCaffrey gets a couple touchdowns and runs wild at plus 4, I literally thought his number would be plus 250 or 3.
And KC are hard to pass on, Cam. They're hard to carve up. Purdy's not racking up 330 yards or something. It's going to be dink and dunk to McCaffrey has to be the one, I think. If McCaffrey doesn't rack it up, they're not winning. I'll put it that way.
Know what it is, Gabe? Yeah. People think, too, because he did have a very bad neck injury, it looked like, in that game. But, guys, we have that extra bye week to prepare. They'll have the
2 weeks will help him. Yeah.
Yes.
And that's going to help the Niners, Cam. If you want more for that, Samuel, he's going to have nice 2 weeks off now. McCaffrey's going to have 2 weeks. They're going to be nice and refreshed. Kittle, everybody's going to be nice and refreshed. Joe, what do you think about the MVP? And is there a longer shot? Me and Cam got it. We're marks. We got all excited at the plus 480.
We are marked.
We didn't even go deeper. Oh, 480.
No, Gabe, I usually take shots at 50-1, Joe, but that's a great game. The bottom line is that's an exceptional
But what about Kelce
price.
at 20-1, guys?
For
someone who's so popular?
That tells me he's not getting it. I like that number.
No.
The books would never hang at 20.
He gets 2 touchdown catches and they win. He could be the MVP.
It was over Mahomes.
Give it to Mahomes.
There's no way getting it over Mahomes. No way. And I'm with you. It's Christian McCaffrey all the way. Do you know if they win the Super Bowl, his dad won the Super Bowl in Super Bowl 29, Ed McCaffrey, and it will be only the second time that a dad and a son have won the Super Bowl for the not for the 49ers, for overall, but he was with the 49ers. So it'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Who's the other one?
Ed McCaffrey.
I don't know. I was trying to work out who the other one was.
Yeah, I always got to know when is it.
Hold on, father, son.
Father and son that both won the Super Bowl.
Yeah, easy, Ed McCaffrey.
I know, it's a stumper. I was trying to work it out.
I can't believe we can't know at the top. It's guy. Come on, father, son, Super Bowl winners. Come on. Jeez.
Thinking,
Bob. Bob and Brian Greasy is the only Hall of Fame Super Bowl champion fathers with sons to hoist the Lombard. Bob and Brian Greasy? What the heck is this? That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it does. But did Greasy?
They son or uncle?
When did Greasy win the Super Bowl?
That's the thing. I don't know. It can't be. Peyton. What about Peyton and Archie? Did Archie Manning ever win a Super Bowl?
No. No, I'm thinking it's a defensive player. I'm thinking it was a defensive player, but I'm thinking about the Greasys, though. Bob Greasy won a Super Bowl. Brian Greasy won the national championship. Yeah. But I don't think Greasy wasn't on the Broncos when they won. He was gone by that point, off the top of my head. He wasn't there when Manning. Greasy was post John Elway. They had
You're right.
Tommy
He didn't win a
Maddox.
Super Bowl. National championship. Bob won 2.
Yeah.
So who is it then? Howie Long and Chris Long. Philadelphia and
Good
Raiders.
call. There you go. Good call. There you go. Howie and Chris. Good call, Ken. Chris Long and Howie Long. Good call.
Well,
I
Howie
said
Long beat the
defensive guy,
Seahawks.
too. I was thinking it's a defensive guy. I'm like,
Remember, they beat the Seahawks that year when the Seahawks came out of nowhere, and they beat the Raiders twice. They beat them down, and then they murdered the Redskins in the Super Bowl, where Marcus Allen went wild in that game. Like, he went absolutely bonkers. Yep.
The Longs, good call. Howie Long and Howie Long is like the only one on that show that ever says anything besides just bellow laughs.
I got to be honest with you, Terry Bradshaw, I know I do a lot of bellow laughs on the show, but I've never met a guy that can't even read a highlight pack like from a kid in like a bad college. Like, it's getting,
I know, but you know what?
The point where it's out of control.
I don't want to. It's like, it's just kind of mean. I know what you mean. Like, I don't want just put it. Listen, for the record, I don't think he was on yesterday. Actually, he wasn't, and people are wondering. He's not all there, bro. He's getting a little bit up there.
Yeah.
Like, he can't be on next year. Let's just put it this way. Like, he can't be on next year.
Yeah. He had a great run, and he's probably been hit a lot. We've all been I've been hit a lot in the head. Yeah.
He's had one of the most miraculous runs in entertainment history. Like, somehow, like, Terry Bradshaw has parlayed this into 80 years of employment.
He does a show kind of like the Kardashians with his family. They're like, hey, Dad, you took so many hits. He's like, oh, come on, girls. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, it's like the Aussies or something. Living with the Aussies, living with Bradshaw.
The Bradshaws. Hey, Dad, can we have some money? Okay, girls.
You know,
like,
Joe,
okay.
He had like a country music. He had a country music career like in the 70s after he retired.
Really?
Like he was in the movies. He was in movies, Cannonball Run. Yep. Then he parlayed this sort of. No, he's been one of these guys that's kind of been underappreciated. Like, when he dies, people are going to look back and go, man, that guy really was like quite a career, didn't he? Like, but when you're sort of number one, he's got the Southern accent and he's a ha-ha guy. So people don't take him seriously. Hey, ha-ha, I'm Terry Bradshaw, ha-ha. Like, you know what I mean? It's always just sort of funny. Oh, there's Terry Bradshaw, ha-ha, right? Like Cam just said, well, he was funny. You know what I mean? But like, you know, so you don't really like think back. You're like, yeah, he was a quarterback, like for a pretty damn good football team. He did win a lot of games.
When you told me, he's like, Terry Bradshaw couldn't spell cat if you gave him the C and the T. Who said that about him again or whatever? Like,
Hollywood
they always
Henderson.
rip him. Yeah.
He said that before the Super Bowl, Joe. There's a guy in the Cowboys. They're playing the Steelers. He said, Terry Bradshaw's so stupid, he couldn't spell cat if I spotted him the C and the T.
What a lie. You got to admit, that's amazing. That's a great insult. I like Terry.
He told me in an interview he felt bad. He goes, I never should have said that. He goes, I feel bad years later I said that, like, to him.
Yeah.
Like, you know?
Well, in this moment, you're thinking about winning and you do dumb stuff. Yeah, that's
showmanship.
The way it is. You're right, though, Gabe. When everything's said and done, like next to like O.J. Simpson and with all the crazy stuff that happened to him, Terry Bradshaw's one of the one that he's done it all. Like everything. Like every facet.
Yeah, no, like honestly, if you really think about it, like him, like he won Super Bowls in the 70s and he's still standing on the stage now modernly getting paid to be at the Super Bowl. How many people can say, like for 50 years? Like this guy's like seen it all. Like he really has. And he is smart. He's just getting up there, right? In age a little bit. But I'm just stating, like my whole point was Howie's the only guy that actually has a point. Everyone else just laughs.
Yeah.
Hey, it's raining today. Oh, hey, JB. Oh. The Chargers have the 5th pick in the National Football League draft. There's a lot of different like roads that they could take with this pick. And for the record as well, there's a few sports books out there already that already have next year's Super Bowl numbers up. The Chargers are like 30-1. So there's a lot of work to do.
SportsRage Late Night, only on SportsGrid.
Quarterback at quarterback. We're going to lay some juice. We're going to have some dog prices, and we're going to go right in the middle.
Because I don't know what they're doing. To me, they're in a complete rebuild, Kev. Go run. That's where overbackers on this 51.5 shot.
So right now, he's a little bit more over money, but it's hovering right around.
The winner of this game will be the division
I
favorite.
don't care if they win because all we care about is the money, baby. The money.
Pro Football Today. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
This will not end well in Milwaukee. They will flame out, there will be problems, and we will see what happens of who's the next domino to go. Does Giannis, who just signed an extension, ask out after a year? Do they move on from Dame? Or do they start blowing up some of the other guys, Brook Lopez, Bobby Portis, so on and so forth? It'll be worth watching.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
We got one of the best games of the year, Warren, on Sunday night as the Chiefs are now headed back to a 6th championship game. An extremely fun, clean game, and then the hijinks ensue.
And I thought it was just irresponsible for him to take that deep shot into the end zone. I talked a lot about it on X. I thought that they should have hit that underneath route to Diggs. He was wide open. It would have been easily a first down.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
He feels like he's got unfinished business, right? He won the national championship, did what he said he wanted to do, going back to Ann Arbor.
And, he coached, I think, with the Raiders as an assistant, and then got the job with the Niners, and then went to title games, went to Super Bowls, lost to his brother, and I think you're right, unfinished business, go back, try to win a Super Bowl.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
73 points for Luka Doncic. Joel Embiid scored 70 and somebody beat him in the same week. That's incredible.
In-game live, prime time, only on SportsGrid.
SportsGrid, the only streaming sports betting network. Tips, info, and insights to up your IQ. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
All right, our poll is up to 387 votes right now. 63.6% of you taking the Kansas City Chiefs.
Excellent. More
Joe
please.
is one of them. Yeah, my polls are always wrong, Cam. Like the majority usually loses. It's a heavy slant right now.
I want to see a heavy. I want to see 70% Morency and go excellent.
Yeah,
Join our
Joe,
side,
consensus,
Joe.
Kansas City. It's hard, like I said. Like everybody's not as stupid as me and Cam.
Yeah, we're idiots.
I would love to see the 49ers win it. I don't want to see the Chiefs, but I just can't put my money on the 49ers right now. So not unless something moves. If all of a sudden the Chiefs are the favorite, then I will move on the 49ers, plus whatever points I can get there.
What about the
I'm looking
teaser,
for some
Gabe?
other
That seems
consensus.
very attractive. So all these guys, you're like, I do 7. So even a 6, you get Kansas City at 7.5. But the problem is
that's the way to go.
40, yeah.
That's what I'm doing, like point blank. And I never like middling. I'll give people a straight opinion on the game, but I'll give people a final score and everything before kickoff. But I thought of that right away. I'm like, you know what? I did the same thing with Baltimore. I actually took Kansas City on teasers, but I got screwed over because the game wasn't high scoring enough. But that's the thing. When you try to middle it with the teaser, you got to be right with the side. But, guys, I don't see how the hell we're not going to get to 40.5 points. You're telling me all I need is 41, Joe, for a teaser here? I'm going to take the Kansas City Chiefs plus 8.5, tease to the over, and I'm going to slam the San Francisco 49ers on the money line. And I'm going to bet the over the game.
What do you guys think of the last team to score wins this game? Because I think it's that tight. You can bet that over on FanDuel. It's happened in the last 14 Super Bowls. Last team to score has won. I can't remember them. I was looking at them earlier today, but they were pretty good odds. Like you're getting plus money on it. So I'll have to just quickly pull it up here.
And to Gabe's point, I think winning margin, if you like the Chiefs 1-6, 1-6, I don't see a blowout in this game. I think San Francisco probably wins by like 3 or 4. That's my pick.
It was 11 last time they played.
Yeah, because they collapsed, Gabe, and it was heartbreaking. They were leading.
Thank you, Joe.
Thanks, guys.
We'll probably collapse it.